And thanks for tuning in. It's Friday night or Saturday morning here, where I am in Japan. Episode 28 of what you're listening to. You probably noticed there's just the three of us at the moment. Jay is trying to get on. Hopefully he'll get on in the next few minutes or so. He's doing his best, so we'll wait for him. I hope he gets on. But Bill's here. Good to see you again, Bill.
Good to see you too, Mike, and you, Sean.
And Sean,
good to
thanks
see you.
for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Love you to see you. And let's see if Jay's here. Nope.
In spirit.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit.
He couldn't hear us and see us, but we can't hear or see him, unfortunately. But we'll just leave him there.
Incognito.
And see if he gets on. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Same as every week. We've got 5 records each, or maybe more. We'll see how that goes. We're going to have a great time talking about a lot of new records, some old records, some classics. It's going to be a great time. I'll do the housekeeping a little bit, which I always do. Like and subscribe. And the chat's open. We might need some help today with some pronunciation and some other stuff. So if you're in the chat, help us out. Make some comments, join in the chat. It'd be good to see you in the chat. And that's about it. Shall we get going? You ready? You guys ready? I'm ready. I've got my 5 here. Actually, I've got more. I've got 5 plus in the pile. It's tough, right? Whittling
yes,
down to just 5. Yeah, it's tough, but someone's got to do it, and we've done it, I think. So let's get going. So, Jay's gone. I usually do my short, sharp shock at the beginning of the show. I didn't do it last week. I did actually opposite of that. But, this week, my T-shirt is actually kind of a clue, really, as to my first pick of the day. We unfortunately lost Ljudjie Ward, legendary bass player. He played on so many classic records, it's kind of mind-boggling, but, I'm going to go with this one today.
Yes.
What an amazing record. And I chose this one really for a specific reason. So, this was Ljudjie's band, you know what I mean? He wasn't, he was the bass player in the Damned and the bass player in the Saints, but this was Ljudjie's band, and I'm not going to get into like a little ranking of the best like Ljudjie Ward records, but this is my personal favorite out of like Machine Gun Etiquette and the Saints album. I love this record. I remember like being about like 11 or 12. This came out in like 1982, right? On Camouflage. I remember I was just a small teenager, and we used to listen to this radio show on the BBC called Friday Rock Show, and I had a little earpiece in my ear and a little radio, a transistor radio, and Tommy Vance was the DJ. And he played Motorhead and all the new wave British heavy metal. And one day he played a song of this record, and it was like the first time I'd ever heard it. And it was the Fell in Love with a Stormtrooper song.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And that was the first Tank song I ever heard. And that was playing in my head for weeks and weeks after. And finally I kind of found the record, and just a great record. And people say like it's heavy metal, but it's punky too, right? Tank had very much of a punk vibe going on. But yeah. We lost Ljudjie Ward this week. So, rest in peace to Ljudjie Ward. There you go. What about you guys? You have a favourite of his that he played on?
I like Machine Gun Etiquette.
Right.
Yeah. It is good. That's my favorite, though, personally, the one you're holding. And I've got of course, being, I got to be that guy. So I've got the one with the 7-inch, the extra 7-inch, too, that came with it.
Yeah, this is actually the original. I was going to, I've got a couple. I've got the Japanese one, too. I've got the Japanese one. There's a German one, too, with the different cover up, right? The different colour scheme on the front. I just thought I'd show the original, UK classic.
Camouflage release,
flimsy as hell, sleeve, Mine's missing a 7-inch, but, and produced by Eddie Clarke. Or not produced by Eddie Clarke. He was there, I think, but I'm not sure how much he actually did in the studio. But you gotta love that production, though. It's so perfect for this kind of music,
Yep.
Yeah.
We've kind of
powerful, clean. It's got a little. It's very catchy music,
Yeah.
but very heavy music, and that's what
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite is the catchy, heavy. It's got some AOR, but like you said, it's got that punk influence as well. It was sort of a very original band for the time.
Exactly. They were kind of dubbed like, like like the Sons of Motorhead kind of thing. They had that tag a little bit back in the day,
Yeah.
but they've got their own thing going on.
Definitely.
Sure. Definitely, right.
I agree.
And everybody always talks about Ljudjie Ward's bass playing, but I love his vocals too.
Yeah, I agree.
They fit the music perfectly. So all the great players from our generation are kind of passing away recently, and this is a bit of a sad one for me because I'm a huge Tank fan. So that's my first pick of the day, Tank. Filth, Hounds of Hades. I was going to choose another one actually. He made a couple of albums recently by himself. Oh, there was 2 Tanks. It got to that. There was that Ljudjie Ward Tank, and then this other Tank. And Ljudjie he made 2 records where he played all the instruments and stuff. They're really weird, very like underground, like kind of like outsider metal, very weird production. I was going to show one of those just to kind of show something a bit different, but very interesting. He had it was kind of sad, right? You got Ljudjie Ward's Tank and then the other Tank playing at the same time.
Yep.
So, happens a lot.
Right, yeah. I'm just hoping we're not going to get
Venom Inc.
Yeah.
I keep joking that we're going to get like Phil Campbell's Motorhead at some point down the road. He's going to do that.
Yeah, right?
Filthy Foderhead.
Yeah. All right, Bill, what's your first pick of the day, my friend?
All right. My first pick of the day it's 2 7-inches
There you go.
by Rat Cage.
Nice.
Just reissued. I'm a Vida Samus. At least I had this one on tape.
Right.
But yeah, now I got it on vinyl, and I love this band. I'm pulling for a Rat Cage Vasca split 12-inch someday.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that'd be fire.
I think that would be an incredible record. Both that DB, but they're more than just DB. They got that the UK punk going on besides the DB, and it's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. So
isn't that like a one-man band? But when they play live, he has other guys with him.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's still like that, but yeah.
Yeah, they just put out a recent one. Oh, go ahead.
I know that when he put this out, this is all the one guy. And this is like their demo, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know they reissued that because I have the tape as well. I didn't realize they re-released it on a 7-inch. Gonna have to pick that up, of course.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Paco, he keeps putting them out. We try to keep up, but he's.
Oh, I know. It's just endless.
He's hard to keep up with.
One of my sneaky post 5 might be a new release from.
All right.
Yeah, one of their more recent releases. But they just actually Rat Cage just came out with something new. It's only digital right now on Bandcamp. Okay. But it's they're taking it to the next level. It's just amazing. Okay. Like you said, it's E-beat, but it's got more stuff. Like a good split would be with Vasca, and then or Muro, or what's another good example? I mean, there's just so many of these bands coming out now, I think, that are pulling the best of sort of D-beat, but not that tiresome, sort of derivative D-beat that we're hearing. They're throwing some more rock in there, some UK 82,
Motorhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd rather hear that. There's just some like straight ahead D-beat at this point, more interesting. That band, The Annihilated, have got a bit of that going on, maybe?
Right.
Yeah. The Flex, too. The Flex is really
yeah.
both of those bands, the whole that whole scene over there, and with Nicky Rat and all those bands that are coming out over there. He has like peripheral involvement with. There's a lot of great stuff.
Isn't
Yeah.
there that big festival going on this weekend in Sheffield or Bradford, like 2-day thing with Destruct? And I saw the lineup. It's got all the bands on it, you know.
Oh man,
yeah. I think that's going on right now. In fact, like this weekend. So
Yep.
Destruct are there, I know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who lives in Manchester, and he said he was going to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to be a fun.
What's that?
It's probably going to be a really good lineup, of course. There's just so
Yeah.
many amazing lineups in England now with these touring bands. Just
Yes.
endless, just crazy 8-band, bills, just nonstop. I mean, us old guys probably can't make it through 4 bands without. Oh, I need to sit down. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
With minute-long songs,
I'm like, what happened to 3-band shows?
Yeah. Even that's hard. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I heard Destruct is going to be playing some one-off shows on the East and West Coast here pretty soon in the States. I don't know if it's been in the planning stage yet, and they've got any venues picked out yet. But I did hear that they're going to be coming.
Who is?
Quick because Destruct.
Yeah.
Going to be playing some select dates on the East and West Coast soon.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that.
Patrick from Destruct is coming on the show next month at some point in the middle of the next month. Looking forward to that.
Good deal.
Cool.
All right, Sean, what's your first record or tape of the day?
My first one is a tape, and it's one of the new releases from Iron Lung. It's Life Expectancy. And the title is Decline, and this thing is just raging. It's got all the best of Scandinavian and Japanese and US hardcore and just insanity. And they're from England. Don't know where exactly they are from England, but it's one of the newest releases off Iron Lung. And this thing is just straight fire. Just every single song is a banger, and it's just so good for their opening salvo. I am really looking forward to see what's going to come next from them. But it's it's not it's got a little bit of crust on it, a little bit of that, again, the Japanese hardcore, whatever you want to genre you want to put in there, Burning Spirits, but some good classic sort of 90s thousand Scandinavian hardcore crusty elements, and then just maniacal, sometimes almost reminding me of like a really, really heavy hologram almost, without all the weird effects and different, just straightforward. And I mean, almost indescribable. There's just so many different elements going on there. Of course, it's a hardcore genre. Of course, it's fast and it's angry, and it hits you hard. But to sort of nail down an exact, they sound like this or they sound like that. They threw a lot of great stuff in the cauldron, and a highly recommended tape. I don't know if they're gonna be putting out vinyl for this soon, but I had to snap up the tape. It was just too good, and I'd highly recommend it. Life Expectancy, and it's Life Expectancy, and then Decline from Iron Lung Records. Jensen putting out the great stuff as usual.
He's another one that's guilty of making us poor.
Yes. Highly. I almost feel like stopping my notifications from them, that Sorry State, them, La Vida, all of them. Just stop sending me notifications. You're killing me.
Yeah.
Bill, are you familiar with that one?
I have not heard them before, no.
Me neither.
I am going to.
I'm going to put it in the link, and then I'll send in the link.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's a great first pick. Something new and something new. we
yes.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Thanks, Sean. That's a good pick.
No.
All right, my second pick. It's like I kind of hesitated to show records that are kind of this kind of age, maybe 7 or 8 years old. So I'm like, well, everybody probably already kind of knows these records, and it's like, what's the point of showing? But I kind of realized that actually that's not the case. You can miss out on stuff, right?
Yeah,
especially like
absolutely.
last week with that Sokia Piste or Pist.
Oh, yeah.
From Finland.
Yeah.
I was surprised, like, people hadn't heard of it before, and so I'm just gonna go with it because this is new to me. I got it a couple of weeks ago, and it surprised me. It's a Canadian band from Toronto. I think this is their second or third record. I'm talking about this band, Absolut.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
I was surprised because I had thought that they were just as we were talking about, I thought they were kind of just a straight ahead D-beat band, which maybe they were in the earlier days. I'm not sure. I've got their demo from 2013, and that's kind of got some different stuff going on too. But this one kind of blew me away. It's almost like that kind of cyber metal, like Japanese, metal. Jason Ryan came out with that term, like cyber metal. It's a good one, right? I kind of stole it.
That's a good one, man.
I stole it from Jason Ryan. It's a good description of this record. So, overdriven guitars, ripping guitar solos. I guess there's some D beat in here, but it's very metally. It's almost like kind of that Devil Master kind of thing going on. I want to say. But back in 2015, of course, our friend Christian overall was he produced it. So it's great. It's on Detact and Raw Punk, another pretty amazing label.
Label that makes us broke. Yeah, definitely.
Their records always look and feel like they always feel really expensive. They got the gatefold. It's got the gatefold sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful looking.
I mean, even the 7 inches are
right?
Yeah.
And I got that Desperat Death Rage split.
Yeah.
That looks like a prog rock record. It's got this huge gatefold, and the color schemes like green and gold, and with all these I like that, something a bit different. Not the stereotypical design.
Yep.
So I mean, if you missed Absolut and were just thinking, it's just another run of the mill D-beat band, no. This is a really amazing kind of metallic cyber metal record out of Toronto. Oh, there we go. Mike's backing me up on this. There we go. Great. Deafening live band.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah. So, record from 2015 that I missed, and I've been enjoying this a lot recently.
Yeah, they're definitely a consistent band. I like them. Sometimes they sound a little bit. They'll remind me. They got that, like you said, they got that raw punk sort of D-beat sound to them. But then they can, they remind me of Warthog sometimes, or Judgment, or they've got those elements in them sometimes as well. Like you said, whatever you want to call it, cyber metal or cyber metallic punk. They throw that sort of that overdriven flanger in there, or that overdriven chorus, or whatever they're doing with that sound. Sadist can sound like that sometimes too.
Damn, I was just listening to them too this week. In fact,
reminds me of them sometimes. That's just overblown, just chaos in the ear, and you're just like, how do you differentiate between the sounds?
Yeah. And they have these little weird psychedelic interludes between songs as well sometimes, which I really like. Keeps things interesting,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
good stuff. Good stuff. Definitely not run of the mill like Crust or DB. Really top quality stuff from Toronto. They're not around anymore though, right? Absolut. They're defunct.
They put out something. I have a demo from them.
Oh, really?
They put out something. I don't know. What was it? I think the last one was 2019. It looks like.
Okay. All right.
So
I was gonna say, I swear I saw them in 2018.
Okay.
So,
but
nice. That was the last I'd heard of them.
Yeah, I think Desolate put out the 2019 demonstration tape, which
all right.
Which was really good, and I was hoping there was sort of the shape of things to come, but I haven't heard anything since.
So they are still playing.
That's good news. I thought
as of 4 years ago, just not too long ago.
Yeah, that split with Paranoid is also a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Another
good
example.
Band.
Love Paranoid. Oh.
I'm pretty picky when it comes to this kind of stuff, but they're great. Really top quality.
Yeah, they do a good job. I agree.
Really good band.
Yeah, Nuka
right.
is another one. Nuka, the Portuguese band, however you pronounce it, Nuke, with the
Mm.
double Ke, Nukke.
Okay, all right.
From
Similar kind
Portugal,
of
have you
style.
heard them? Yeah, that's really good as well. No, it's
Okay.
similar type of sound, and of course, mock execution.
Okay. That's another
They all
band
kind
I
of
need to.
remind me of the same sort of,
All right.
overblown. Got all the good elements in there.
Mm-mm. That's another two going on the list. I've seen mock execution being talked about quite a bit recently, for sure. All right, it's Bill's turn. Yes.
All right. So
second pick.
Last time I was on, I showed a record by Gargoyle Socks, which was their second album. And now I'm showing their first album.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, which this is, I guess again, As the Master Sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, how this band isn't bigger than they were, I don't know.
I agree.
Because, I mean, if you like the Damned's more gothy stuff, or Susie, or even The Cure, I mean, 45 Grave, Christian Death.
Little Rudimentary Peni. Little Rudimentary Peni.
Peni, yeah.
Really?
Part one.
Wow.
Just a little bit of that. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this is and this is the record. I thought the other one was good. This one's even better. So
I've been looking for that record now. This one since the other one since last week or 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't show up at all here, and it doesn't even show up in the Disc Union. It's not even in their database.
Wow.
Because if you type in a name to Disc Union's website, it'll come up, right? It's not even on there. So I think they're pretty unknown over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. I feel like I mean, to me, they are new because I knew about them a while back, but not this one. And geez, I mean, this is so good. I feel like putting it on now after just talking.
Wait a few minutes.
Yeah, they're very underrated band. Definitely a very underrated, and they kind of went under the radar, and it's the name is so easy to remember. You would think they would have, caught on, but I agree with you. They should have been much bigger and much more known.
Yeah. I mean, they should have been playing that fest in California this past weekend.
Oh yeah, the Cruel World. Yeah, Cruel World. Yeah.
You kind of blew me away when you showed that because I've not even heard the name before.
Yeah. And it's fantastic. It really is. If you like that kind of goth, dark wave type stuff, it's awesome.
Wow. And you're a fan too, right, Sean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love anything goth, post-punk, and the more obscure the better. There's a lot of really choice stuff out there. I kind of went bonkers for some years and just got tried to find the most obscure and unknown new wave and post-punk and goth bands, and there's so much unmined gold out there.
There is.
From bands like Play Dead, which some people are familiar with. They're on Clay Records. Bands like Remain in Silence, which is a great German band. They put out some reissues recently. It's just there's so much out there, and it's of course people know bands like Asylum Party a little bit or stuff like that, but there's so much obscure post-punk and death rock and goth out there that it's another one of those things where you could go down a rabbit hole for quite a while, just to mine the gold,
I'm just starting on my journey into all that stuff, so I'm happy to hear that there's so much more.
Good luck. I picked up that Death Rock volume. That Death Rock Volume 2. I think that was a recommendation from you too, Bill.
Yeah.
I can't find Volume 1, but I got Volume 2. That's a really good compilation.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Gargoyle Socks.
Yes.
Gargoyle Socks.
Wow.
Yep. And that, I guess they just have the 2 records. Yeah.
Both have great cover art too.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah.
Killer. All right, Sean, what's your second pick of the day?
Okay, this one is, I guess, about a year old. And again, this is where I'm going to botch my French, but I believe it's Prisonnier du Temps, Prisoner of Time. And this is a solo project from the one of the members of Syndrome 81, actually. And does all the, it's a one-person band, does all the instruments. So if you like, Syndrome 81 or Litovsk or Short Days, or stuff like, or even older French Oi, UK 82 sort of mixed stuff, I would highly recommend this. It is so catchy, infectious, the tunes on this, and just the harmonies, and it's just amazing. So if you really like that Syndrome 81 sound, you'll love this side project from one of their members. And again, it's Prisonnier du Temps. And I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sure.
Prisoner du Temps.
But yeah, du Temps. But it's Prisoner of Time, I'm sure. Yeah.
I studied
How do you
French
say
when I was a junior. I studied French for a bit when I was Prisoner du Temps.
Prisoner du Temps. Much better. Thank you. Thank you. I feel this has been saved. My dignity's been saved.
Maybe we'll see.
But yeah, and it's I think it's put out on a pretty small label, but you can find it on Bandcamp, and it's 8 songs, and it's just it's really catchy. Like I said, I'm really a big fan of that whole sound that's coming out of that part of France. Litovsk, Kronstadt, Syndrome 81, the Brest, sound. Short Days is another really good band. There's just a whole slew of them, and I really, really like that sound that they're coming up with. It's so a little political, but not beating you over the head. But they just do a really good job of each component of the music is just really what I like in that sort of French oi, that came out a lot, in the 80s. We're all familiar with. So if you like catchy oi UK 82 with a little tinge of post-punk, this is right up your alley.
Man. So much good stuff coming out of France, right?
Yeah, somebody else suggested that record to me too.
Me too. Yeah.
You will love it. Love it. And again, I'll put the link in the
all right. Thanks, Sean.
So yeah, it's excellent. So that's my number 2.
Cool. Right. Yeah, I'm waiting for Punk and Destroy to get in copies of that, because that's like really the kind of stuff that they sell, but they haven't got copies yet. But looking forward to it.
Pick one up.
That Litovsk, the newest 12-inch, I picked that up too. That's also amazing, as you said. Yeah.
Yes. I love that from the beginning, from their demo. I love that sound. And what's so funny is, again, I speak Dutch, but they're from the Brittany part of France, but they're speaking in Dutch. Their music's in the Dutch language, or the Flemish language. And I'm like, which is fine, which is great, but it's just, I know that part of France, they don't really speak that. So I'm just wondering if it's just one member is Flemish or Dutch, or but I really love it because I understand the language. It's like I can sing along with the Litovsk a little bit, but they mix it up with the English and French as well. The great band, just really genius. Really great combination of that sort of poppy, post-punky sound, very catchy, but then with that oi element to it. And I just think that's a great combination. It's that pump your fists in the air music, very anthemic. You just want to go crazy, and dance to it,
Yeah.
That's a great pick, yeah. That's really new too, right?
It's about a year old.
Okay, yeah.
Just under a year old. It came out. Let's see if I can get I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it came out last year, but I think it came out late last year.
All right.
So it's under a year old record. You know, it was recorded in late 21, 22, and then put out in late 22. So yeah, I
Right.
consider that a new record. And I don't know if this person's gonna do any more solo stuff, but I really hope they do because this is wonderful.
Cool. All right, I'm not gonna say the same ballpark. This is kind of a little different. I'm gonna go to Australia from 2020, a record that Static Shock put out that I bought a couple of months ago, and like I wasn't too keen on it at first, but then I gave it a few more listens, and I was like, God, this is a really, really great record. And I'm talking about this band, Cold Meat.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody's, you know this one. This is really, really good. I feel like this could have gone under the radar a little bit too. You don't really see people talking about this record very much, but I know it's like we talk about like egg punk. We talked about like egg punk on this show before, and this might be egg punk, and I'm still not exactly sure what egg punk is, but this record might be egg punk. What, Sean? What do you think? No,
I think it's more like no wave. I mean, egg punk is
Yeah.
usually very. Egg punk to me is more of that silly sounding sort of like, you know, Devo people could consider egg punk, but it's
Yes.
just I think the egg punk that people are really, you know, using that genre tag for tends to be very silly music. And I thought the Cold Meat was a little bit more herky jerky, sort of, you know, no
Yeah.
wavy, a little sort of like the guitars were very jarring, more than just silly sounding or you know, circus music. You know, it doesn't sound like that to me.
And the guitars are really like fuzzed out.
Yeah.
Everything kind of moves along like a mid-paced tempo. It's also pretty catchy too. But for me, like the star of this record is the vocalist, Ashley Ramsey. Amazing singer. She's got a little bit of that like Eve Libertine from Crass like thing going on. She can like change her voice like up and down it, but it sounds amazing. For me, she's like the star of this record. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. 2 Cold Meats. There you go. But enough about us.
I'm not gonna dig mine out.
It's funny though, Sean. You know, I did mention the egg punk thing, and you mentioned Devo, right? And I've got to read this out because it kind of cracked me up. I was thinking, is this egg punk? There's a song on here like about ZZ Top. You know, that's why it's called like ZZ Top Hat, where they kind of make fun of like ZZ Top fans, and we're like, I'm a big ZZ Top fan, so it's like, I was reading the lyrics of this, and it's hilarious. It's like blah 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 blah. ZZ Top. I hate music that's dull and boring. ZZ music is dull and boring. It's so bad I have to go home. I'm going to spew in your ZZ Top hat because I hate ZZ Top. And then it says, I'm going to go home and listen to Devo in the lyrics. I was like, okay, egg punk. That's what I was like. They even mentioned Devo in the lyrics. So, I thought that was pretty funny. Their lyrics also really like their lyrics are really good too. Like kind of not silly, but kind of original.
Irreverent,
and some humor in there. There's that song Beach Photography, which is like making fun of Instagram and stuff. And the funny thing is though, it's hilarious. I cracked up again when I saw this. You've got this like ZZ Top Hat song, like making fun of ZZ Top, right? And the next song is called Manic Mechanic, which is literally the name of
a ZZ Top song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, a little tongue in cheek, sort of like
it was it's hilarious,
sneaky,
you know?
And
But yeah, this is like a little bit anthemic, it's a little bit dark. It's also irreverent humor and like. But again, I'm going to go back to the vocalist, amazing singer.
It's a little angular and
yes, that's a good word. Yes, angular, fuzzed out guitars, a little quirky, a little bit, but not too zany. Because I don't really do zany. So,
yeah, me neither. Me neither. We're on the same team there,
right?
But Australia is amazing for that type of music. The Australians just put out so much good music that kind of falls into that, you know, no person's land, I guess you want to say, of, you know, well, how do you describe this exactly? And I think they have a lot of original great music coming out of Australia.
I had that trouble before with a couple of other Australian records. I was like, well, I've got this record. It's from Australia. I don't know how to describe it, but it's great. It's like, yeah. There you go. That's my third pick. Cold Meat, Hot and Flustered,
Okay.
from 2020. Check it out. It's a great record. There you go. All right. Bill, what's your number 3?
All right. My next record is called
Oh, here we go.
Cease and Resist, Sonic Subversion, and Anarcho Punk in the UK, 1979 to 1986.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's got Zounds, Honeybane, Crass, Any Anxiety, Flux Pink Indians, Andy T, Poison Girls, Alternative, Kravitz, Apostles, Lack of Knowledge, Hit Parade, Hager the Womb, Chumbawamba, The X, D&V, and The Mob.
Oh, can't do any better than that.
Yeah. It's like I have most of the records that are on here, but these are different versions.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
And yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's got
remastered too, right? And apparently it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course,
sometimes it's nice to have a comp of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Just to have it, just have a little bit of everything. It's fun that way to have like a comp of some of the music like that. I like to get CDs sometimes like that, or records that have just a little bit of everything I like, mix it up a little bit.
And of course, you get the big poster.
Of course, the fold out. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
The lyrics on the other side.
And it was put together by Chris Lowe, right, from the Apostles and Oi Polloi. He put it together. He's been working on it for quite a few years, getting this together. It's a real labor of love because he was right in the thick of the punk scene when he was 12 years old. He was 12 years old when he played on that Apostles record.
It's amazing.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, Rachel, who just pulled out the Cold Meat record here. She went to the release thing in London.
Oh, wow, lucky. That must have been fun.
Yeah.
And there was just some speakers, right? I think Chris Lowe spoke, and I'm not sure who else. I forget who else spoke.
Yeah, I forget too. I know Steve Ignorant was supposed to be there and didn't show up for some reason. Yeah.
There's 2 songs on that album that really stand out to me. It's the Apostles, because they're a favorite of mine, and then that Hit Parade song. I remember when we got that single when it came out, we just thought it was unbelievable because we'd never heard anything like that before. And I
like the alternative track too.
That's good too. Yeah. Because we were into the punks, the punk stuff, and the Hit Parade is all these synthesizers, and then the song about the H blocks in Northern Ireland with the Irish accent, almost spoken vocals. It really, as a kind of 14, 15-year-old boy, it was God, this is really different. I wasn't quite ready for it at that time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the opposite end, kind of alternative seemed harder.
Yes.
Than everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
This is from Rubella Ballet.
And she spoke at the event.
Yeah. Another great band.
Yep.
Oh.
And hello, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Could have just come on camera.
Yeah. Oh, I'm jelly. I'm sure that was a great time.
Yeah. I wish I could have went, but
yeah,
I've seen a lot of pictures from it that Chris Lowe had posted, But
yeah. And there's a video of it. I mean, you can't see much in the video, just whoever's talking
Right.
a little bit. And yeah, I was on there trying to scan for who I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick that up. It's not made it over here yet. I hope it does make it, because that Apostles double album that came out, a different label, but that never made it over here. Like those Apostles, like outtakes and demos and stuff, that didn't make it.
Yeah, yeah, I got it over there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, all right, Sean, what's your third record of the day?
This is Disintegration, and I posted this in a group a while back when I got it. It is only 4 songs, 45, and it is Haley from the Pleasure Leftists solo project. It's some Clevo musicians. It's got members of Pleasure Leftists, Prolificate, and Cloud and Nothings, who I'm not familiar with. But it's if you're not familiar with the Pleasure Leftists, very excellent Cleveland sort of post-punk indie band. I think they got some of the members have got some hardcore pedigree in them, but they're very, very interesting and original sort of post-punk, in my opinion. Almost kind of hard to describe. Haley's vocals are very unique. And just amazing. She just got an amazing voice, and she really has a lot of range and emotion in the way she sings. This Disintegration is a side project, which is more minimal synth pop, noise rock influences. I would say if you like, Old Devo, Tuxedo Moon, Human League. Throwing a little bit of Tones on Tail, and the first sort of Mesh and Lace from I can't think straight, but just really, really excellent band. Even a little bit of Virgin Prunes, just a little bit of everything in there. A little bit of everything, but it's definitely minimal synth kind of pop, kind of, a little bit of quirky, but then the vocals are what really makes it very emotional, very just really excellent melody put to that background of that sort of jarring, cold synth music. So it's only 4 songs. Every single one of them is great and highly recommended. It's the self-released. They put it out as a tape originally over a year ago, sold out super quick, and they just released it as a 4-song 45, 12-inch.
Cool.
Wow. Yeah, so really good. I don't know if either of you like Pleasure Leftists or heard the Pleasure Leftists, but
I have a 7-inch. That's it.
Yeah.
And a tape, I think.
That's like their tape of the EPs. I think it's like a comp.
Yeah.
The one, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good. They made a vinyl release of that finally, which is of course I got both, of course. But yeah, this is really, really. I really like her voice. I really like their style, and even though it's not as an electric guitar oriented music as much as the Pleasure Leftist, it's more, sort of that Tuxedo Moon, Devo-y kind of synth music, but then the singing, that really emotional, emotive, beautiful singing and range that she has. And there's also I believe a male singer that they trade off the vocals back and forth. So again, highly recommend it. Only 4 songs, but worth it. And again, I'll put the link from Bandcamp.
Thank you.
It's funny, the cover of that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like some other records that I've had that had covers very similar to that. They were all like power violence and stuff, and, which is not my thing at all.
No, me neither.
I mean, I like seeing those bands, but I don't really listen to them.
Don't want to end your home.
Crossed Out is about it for me. Crossed Out, Capitalist Casualties.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yep. But your description of them sounds like something that I would definitely listen to.
Yeah, definitely. If you like the bands that I mentioned, and you like the Pleasure Leftists, definitely really good. Really grows on you again. Very infectious. You get diabetes from listening to this over and over again.
Beautiful.
Highly recommend.
Can't wait to get diabetes.
I know. I've been keep pushing, hoping. Listening to as much sugar sweet music as I can.
That's a great pick. It's a new one for me, and it kind of ties in with my next pick, which is also a 4-song 12-inch. It's also kind of a solo project from a great female vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
It's also self-released, but this one is from Sweden, and it's also very 80s, but it's kind of the other side of that coin. This is like, let's get up and have a dance, and in the disco kind of
I
music.
like that too. Yeah.
And I love this record. I'll tell a story behind it when I show it. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's Manuela Iwansson, who was the singer of Terrible Feelings.
Oh, okay.
And she's kind of doing solo stuff now. So it was like Luke from Bombardment posted this.
Okay,
actually,
yeah.
Her new album he posted on his Instagram, and he was so enthusiastic about it. He was like, if you love those Kim Wilde records and early Pat Benatar, and he's like, I can't stop dancing around my room for this album. I immediately went and sort of tried to find it. Hasn't made it to Japan yet, but I found this little bit older record from her when I was looking for that one, so I was really happy to get this one. So yeah, it's a 4-track EP, just super. There's one song on it which is a little more 60s influence, which is a little slower. The other 3 songs are really up tempo, danceable, 80s influence, pop rock.
Which I love. Yeah.
And it's funny, we were talking about ZZ Top just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
The guitars on this kind of do sound a little bit like Eliminator era, ZZ Top.
Oh, yeah.
And the music too, a little bit, I have to say, with those some drum synths going on.
Mm.
And there's also a little bit of Billy Idol in there as well. In fact, the first song, the vocal melody is really similar to Rebel Yell, I have to say, which is great because I love that. Yeah, just really great, happy, upbeat, danceable 80s music. She's great, and it's self-released, DIY self-released record. Yeah, I don't know if you guys like Terrible Feelings.
Yeah,
good band.
Yeah,
kind of dark Swedish melodic punk, power pop, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Do you like Maggot Heart? Do you know the band Maggot Heart?
I do. I've been meaning to talk about that a little bit because they've not been brought up yet.
And,
yeah.
Great stuff.
Band.
That's great Swedish. Yeah. Reminds me. I know I'm sure it's a very different sound specifically, but that's what it reminds me of when you mention that. It's it's something that the main woman behind Maggot Heart sounds like something she would do too.
Yeah. They're a great band too, and it kind of threw me off. There's it's called Dream Lover. The EP is called Dream Lover, and then the title track has that ZZ Top thing. It's got the Billy Idol verse, and then the chorus is just a straight rip off of the original Dream Lover from Bobby Darin. She just uses those words, but it just works so well. It's just super catchy, super upbeat, feel good.
That's all that matters.
Good
as long
music.
as it works.
And everybody, look out for the new album. This is a little bit older EP.
Yeah.
The new album.
Please share that link. Definitely.
Yeah. Manuela Iwansson, Dream Lover, on Lack of Sleep Records, which is her own label. There you go. From 2020. There you go. That's my 4th pick. 2018, sorry. Yeah. That's my 4th pick of the day. There you go.
All right.
Yes, Jordan, thanks. They were Terrible Feelings. I love Terrible Feelings. They're a great band. There you go.
All right. Next.
Yes.
All right. So my next band, they went on to become some other band that's maybe a little more well-known than them. But, 3 of these guys, those 3 went on to form Merciful Fate.
Mm-hmm.
But this is total punk. This is just like, I mean, it sounds like 77 punk.
Hard rock, a little hard rock.
Yeah, but it's got that going on with it. And it just makes it more, it makes it harder. It's like 77 punk, but with ZZ Top. No.
And Kim Wilde.
Big ZZ Top influence.
Yeah. But, yeah, and it's just, I mean, this is great. This record's great. I love this.
I have that.
And I managed to get some other, it was some other bootleg, and it wasn't nearly as good. I think it was all after this stuff, before Merciful Fate.
Okay.
You even have some of the same songs, Merciful Fate songs with different lyrics. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I have that one too.
Yeah, it's not quite as good as this, or Merciful Fate.
No.
But yeah, I played this like 3 times in the past couple of days.
Oh, wow.
So, great record. And yeah.
Other
Brats record, that's a different one though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two. There's two like compilation kind of boot kind of reissue stuff. The one that he has, and then the other one he's talking about, which has like Nuns Have No Fun, but in a different title, different lyrics. And I'll tell you an interesting story. What's funny is back in the 80s when I was just getting into punk and sort of thrash music, I was around 14. This person I met that used to work at the Record Vault in San Francisco, he was really involved with like Ron Quintana and that whole sort of Bay Area thrash scene. And he gave me a live Merciful Fate tape. On the other side, a live Brats tape from Copenhagen.
Wow.
And tape trading was really big back in the 80s. You'd get like Uli John Roth and like bands like, Angel Witch and Venom and that whole like scene, the power metal and speed metal early days. And I just loved it. And yeah, that Brats was just like a punkier Merciful Fate. And so, but the best of both worlds right there.
Yeah.
We just saw Merciful Fate about 8 months ago here in California.
Oh, how was that?
It was amazing. It was truly amazing. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite bands, definitely. Especially of that genre,
Yeah, jealous of that. Yeah, I've talked to a few people who were just like completely blown away by those Merciful Fate gigs.
They did a great job. He did a great job, yeah.
He's getting up there, right?
Yeah.
I have not seen Merciful Fate since the Melissa album.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's to me that and Don't Break the Oath. And of course the first one. Those are my 3 just top all-time favorites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, Melissa was such a big, important record in my, early formative years. I can't remember how many times listening to that song Melissa over and over.
Yep.
As a 14-year-old kid,
Yeah. Yeah, I saw them in a not really small club, but 200-300 people. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed their show. They did play here, but I had missed it. And man, I'm really bummed that I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I couldn't get into the club or something.
Yeah.
All right. The Brats, that's called The Lost Tapes, right? That
yes.
Their album. Yes. Okay. All right.
Good stuff. Good, always good.
Classic. All right, Sean, what's your next record or tape?
Okay, I got another tape.
Cool.
And this is a somewhat shameless plug of a good friend of mine and a good label here locally. The band is called Isolant. And it's from Matthias label. And it's his side project with Max First from Morn and The Watcher. and then some Spanish person who does noise. So it's a sort of 3-person project, and they're doing it, sort of through the digital realm. And this is the best way to describe it. I was trying to find. I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna cheat here a little bit because it was really hard to remember how it was described so well. So I'm gonna pull
it's
up.
tough sometimes, right?
Yeah, it is, and to remember everything. But hold on 1 second here while I pop this up. But it's basically it's a sort of it's a noise project. It's an industrial project. It's got influences everything from jism to Godflesh to it's just all over the place. And I was trying to remember Mattia, he does the Sentient Ruin label, but he's been in bands like Abstractor or Atrament. I know Abstractor toured Japan, and they're sort of a blackened doom band, very, very sort of very oppressive sounding, heavy blackened doom music, very sort of claustrophobic, and just layers and layers of sound. And so this new project, Isolant, is just a sort of a side project, and with the guy again from Max from Mourn and the Watcher. The Watcher's really a good project. I don't know if you've heard them. It's sort of new wave of British heavy metal sort of worship. That's really good from Max. But I'm going to try to find real quick the description so I can give you a better idea of because it's more do it better justice than me. So give me 1 second here. It was a mouthful, that's for sure. And,
last week I was talking about a record, and I just copied and pasted the Sorry State description because it did so much better than I could.
Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta do it. So let's see if I can find it here. Where is it? Okay, now if I can just find it, that'd be great. Let's see here. 1 second here. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a pretty recent project. They only have 2 tapes out, and because it's it's not really a touring band or anything. I don't think we'll see any much in that regards. But this new tape that was put out, it's basically, it says it's an industrial death doom band, and the influences. Bands like Godflesh, Scorn, Coil, even Spine Wrench, the Swans. So it's got a lot of different elements like that. And so it's got somebody doing some sort of harsh noise, somebody doing some sort of tribal sounding, electronic music a la Godflesh or Jesus, and then or the Swans, and then this sort of guttural death doom singing to go with it. Right. And so highly recommended, definitely. And it's only on tape now. I don't know if they're going to put out a record, but the label is really good too. To give them a plug, it's Sentient Ruin here out of Oakland, and they put out a lot of great stuff. They do a lot of reissues and represses of stuff that good bands that we know that either they'll put out it on a different format. They did the CD version of the latest Rigorous Institution, things like that. So good label. I'll put it in the link. But this latest project of the label, the head of the label, Mattia, it's a really good band. Highly recommended.
Cool. Yeah, it's another new one to me for sure. And there's some Mourn involvement. It's gonna be good, right?
Yeah. Everything that Max does is pretty good. Yeah, he's also in Malleus. That band Malleus.
Now you've sold me. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Malleus is amazing. I
like Malleus a lot.
The new album's out, right? The new record's been out for a
really?
while. Right?
I did not know that.
Maybe it hasn't. I keep looking for it, and I thought it was out. Maybe it's not out yet. but it's going to come out.
I'm going to have to look for that because the last one was amazing.
Right? Yes. So good. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's like really made me kind of pay attention now because I love that band. Yeah.
And very, very prolific artist as well. His drawings and paintings and artwork is amazing too. Yeah, he's a really all-around talented person for sure.
Wow. Cool.
All right.
I thought so too. Thanks, Scoots. Yeah, he said like the new Malleus has been out for a minute, so we're going to have to jump on that, Sean.
Yes, please do.
Malleus, and
I come to please,
as we all do. Well, you came to. I'm going to finish off today with like probably the most desolate, despondent, downcast, and somber and depressing record in my whole collection, and I love it. So last week I started with like a doom record on Svart Records, and that was Solemn Lament. It's a 4-track record made by some like Justin Detour, who's been in a whole bunch of. I posted this yesterday, and like his discography is like this big on Discogs. He's been in like so many bands, but this is a British band. It came out in 2006. Rich Militia from Sore Throat put this out originally on his label. Warning. They got the best name too. Watching from a Distance. There's really not another kind of doom record that sounds like this. It's completely unique. 5 songs, like every side except side C is just one song. It's about a breakup in a relationship. So I got this record after I just kind of come out of a tough relationship. Man, I do not recommend it. Like, tears will flow. You will not be able to stop the tears from flowing. It's just such a beautiful record. It's in the doom metal genre, but it's way beyond just being a doom metal record. And it has like no like Black Sabbath groove. There's none of like the cliches of doom metal. It's hard to describe, and like it's got just the best riffs that are completely original, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful record. Even if you think you don't like doom metal, you might get into this record, maybe. But be warned. Here's a warning for you. It's like super, super slow, with like no tempo changes throughout like the 90 minutes. It never goes into like a groovy breakdown. It's like super sluggish. But it's also like really listenable. It's like very catchy. And some people don't like this record because of the vocals. Because he kind of sounds like Michael Stipe a little bit.
Interesting. Really? Well, I like Michael Stipe.
Right. See, this is the great divider with this record. I know people that love the riffs. They love the music. They can't stand the vocals. I love the vocals. I think, he's kind of got that indie rock Michael Stipe kind of a timbre to his voice. His name's Patrick Walker. It's very emotional vocalist, and he pours his heart out in the lyrics and stuff, and it's very, very unique. But if you don't like Michael Stipe, you might not be able to like handle.
Well, not a problem for me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
Right? It kind of, for me, it lifts it to a whole new like dimension. His vocals and everything, and. There was one thing I noticed I'd never noticed before about this record, which kind of blew my mind. The layout of this reissue was done by Vivi. Now, this guy, we talk about him a lot because he plays in Koti Tuhoa, and like the band that we've learned to pronounce now. And Foreseen and Perry Kato and Circle, so like that was a kind of good connection to records that we often show that like this guy did the layout for this reissue. But yeah, give it a go. If you think you don't like doom metal, you might like this record. And no, Jordan, there is no shiny happy people vibe. It's like the complete opposite of like shiny happy people. It's very crestfallen record. So there you go. That's how I'm going to finish today with Warning. Watching from a Distance. There you go. That's my last pick of the day.
All right.
All right.
Ready for mine?
Ready when you are, sir.
I don't know if I'm ready to say this or not.
Okay. Oh,
there it is.
I'm going to say it's Tozibabe.
Sounds about right.
It's Yugoslavian all-woman punk band. It's really good. And it's on Radiation Records, so you can probably get it just about anywhere. Yeah. And Sean, you got a different version of this, right?
Well, I've got an older bootleg this is like
okay.
an official reissue or somewhat official reissue that has like everything, and I think it's a much better production. Mine's just sort of a boot compilation that's got the 7-inch, and then it's got the compilation tracks. But the sound quality is not too bad, but I'm almost confident that this is a better one. I got this one about a year ago, so I'm going to pull the plug on this and definitely get it.
I was actually surprised at how good the production is on this.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out.
I was.
Me too.
Because, I mean, you know, if you're saying early 80s Yugoslavia, I was not expecting great production.
Yeah.
You know, and it's good. It really is good. The guitar, being a guitar player, I always measure everything on how the guitar sounds, and the guitar sounds really good. The drums sound good, so I'm happy, and the vocals are right there. Yeah, it's catchy. It's like thick sounding. Yeah, very good. 85 to 2015, it says.
So that's like their entire discography on one record, or just?
I don't know if it's the entire discography. Might be. First 7-inch live tracks, comp tracks.
Okay.
And then something from their 2015 reunion show.
All right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good band.
Yeah.
Very, very intrigued and curious.
Oh, there you go. It is. There you go. It is their entire discography.
Johnny Happy People vibe.
Yep.
All right, Sean, bring it on home. Our last pick of the day.
This is a band that I found again on Bandcamp and on SoundCloud, and they're called Closed Tier, and it's another one of those young person sort of basement project. They play all the instruments, and it's a guy from LA, a youngster, and when they play live, he plays with another solo sort of one-person band that goes under the name Wisteria. And Wisteria was on the Detriti Records, that famous German label that Mocho Doma got their start on, and that puts out a lot of really great obscure stuff. So on record, it's just this one person. Live, it's the person that makes up Closed Tier, and then the person that makes up Wisteria, which is also a really good solo project on Detriti Records. But I like this record a lot. It's very simple, sort of very sad goth, what they're calling now, I guess the kids are calling death wave, just very very depressing, sort of sad lyrics, sad gothy songs, but very simplistic, catchy, and well done. And I was fortunate enough when we were in Mexico City about a month ago to catch them live, and they played a really good show. And I highly recommend them. It's really hard to get their physical stuff. It's expensive and or just impossible to find, but they're all over Bandcamp and SoundCloud and YouTube. So definitely recommended. Closed Tier, and he's a pretty prolific person. And this is this is a 20-song record, so it's out quite a good bit of music. And I really like this guy's stuff. It's just really because again, sad songs make me happy, and the sad songs on this one make me happy. They're really catchy, upbeat, and done very well, and not over the top, trying too hard to throw too much stuff in there. Keeps it very simple, sort of lo-fi goth and post punk and death rock. So highly recommended. And the label is it's a label. It's an interesting label. It's sort of a consignment label, I think, and out of LA, and it's called Disco Darks. Darks. And I think they just do very, very not infrequent releases for bands that are usually putting out digital music, but either raise the funds to put out a vinyl copy of their music or format, or there's enough they find that there's enough call that they're gonna sell them. So, but definitely, again, highly recommended. Closed tier, 1-person band in the studio, 2-person bands on the road.
Cool. Bill, familiar? New to you?
What's that?
Are you familiar with Closed Tier?
No.
Me neither.
I've heard the name, but that's it.
It's another one of the sort of what they're calling, it's sort of a derogatory term, but this sort of like, cholo goth thing that band Prayers started. There's a band called French Police from Chicago, and a few others. And, again, I'm not calling it that, but that's sort of the genre that they've created amongst themselves, as people. And, whether or not Prayers is the more famous band. Their music's not really my favorite. They're from LA too. But it's definitely a large part of the Hispanic community in LA and Chicago have a huge post-punk and goth scenes going on amongst all genres of music, of course. But there's just a huge burgeoning scene of goth and post-punk in those communities.
Wow.
So, and I support it. I like it. Good stuff.
All right. That's a great way to finish off. That's something new. I learned something new from Sean. You had a lot of new stuff, Sean.
Yeah.
And
next time I'll pull out my favorite old stuff.
And Jay couldn't make it, so we were a 3-piece, like Tank and Motorhead. But I think we pulled it off. We did a good job. 15 records this week, not 20. Maybe Jay will come back sometime when he can figure out how to turn on his computer. We'll get him back. We'll get him back on the show. He's got to come on. I know he was looking forward to it. He was really excited.
He would definitely be a good person to be on.
Yeah. We'll get him back on soon. Maybe next month or July. Maybe. Okay. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Next week we've got Jim Martin's back. Big Jim Martin.
All right.
Yeah. Scott Langley, great artist, and Jordan Atkins, who was watching us all the way from Chicago. So tune in same time next Friday, 10 p.m. EDT. Until next time, stay healthy and stay clean.